Hi everyone, welcome back. So it's been about 28 days since the last time I filmed the first video of just kind of quickly going through my succulents. So I just wanted to show the progress of how quickly they've grown. And so at the back over here, I have the mother of thousands, these two here, a couple burrows tail, and you can see that little nubbins or little plants are coming off of them. And so this is my painted echeveria. Is starting to grow, and you can't really see, you could just barely see down there that little is beginning to propagate there. And so over here, again, I'm not really too sure what these two are, but I think they're similar, but they're starting to grow as well, and I'm really excited about those because looks like the mother leaf, at least on this one, starting to shrivel up, and hopefully we'll just kind of redirect all the energy in that plant into making a new plant. And so over here, we have more succulents. So we have the burrow's tail. This guy's grown quite nicely. It's definitely a little adult at this point. We have a couple of our panda ears here. And they're growing really nicely. The one at the bottom corner here, we have two little adults coming from it. Same thing with that one over here. There, you can kind of see that there are two plants coming from that as well. And again, the one at the very bottom here is slowly growing into a nice little adult. So moving on, I have a nice array of burrow's tail and a random guy over here. And so they're growing along really, really nicely. You can see that some of them, the mother leaf, have begun to shrivel up. And right next to it is a nice little adult. You could tell that's getting a little bit leggy actually because it's kind of like spread out. It's more spread out than I would like, but that's also okay because it's May 1st now. It's starting to warm up. It's still dropping below zero in some areas, and in our area it had dropped below zero yesterday. So that's okay with the weather starting to pick up. So if I could get this camera to focus, starting with the top row at the very back, I'm really excited about these guys because they're coming along really nicely. You can see in this with the one at the very top in the middle here, there are two plants coming from the one mother leaf. Same thing with this one here. There might even be three plants coming from this one, so I'm very excited about that. And so in the middle row, I have two plants, and I'm just going to move this camera to have a slightly better look at it. But you can see that the mother leaf had withered at the back over here. I have yet to remove it. But you can see that there are two plants here that are growing, and they're looking really good. So last time I filmed this, I was really excited about the plant in the middle here. And that's because, like, at the time, I had no idea how it's going to look like. I didn't know whether or not I was cresting or whether or not there's, like, a bunch of little plants propagating from the one leaf. And it looks like that's the case. The former is the case. So it looks like there's potentially a bunch of plants coming from this one leaf. And I'm really surprised by that, actually. And again, another burrow's tail, or at least what I think is a burrow's tail. We, over here, and I don't know how well this one's doing, but you can see that the mother leaf's all dried up at the back over here. And that being said, even though it's all dried up, the little plant that it had created is quite small, and I'm not too sure how well it's doing. I don't know if it's going to make it, even though it's successfully propagated. So I don't know whether or not it's like an issue of watering or not enough light, but we'll find out. So here's another example of another leaf that had propagated. Its mother leaf at the very back had withered away and is doing fabulous now as an adult, or a little adult. And so here is a little panda ear, and you can see the cute little pink roots at the very tip of it. And so I'm really excited to see that. Alright, and so moving on to another part of the tray here. So the very back row, you can see that the three leaves at the very back row are propagating little adult plants. And the one in the middle here is starting to wither. Moving on to the middle row, I find this personally really exciting because you can actually see the little pink roots, and I really like that. The one in the middle here looks like potentially mini flapjacks, and so I'm excited to see that. And oh, this particular plant in the middle at the top, or sorry, in the middle rather, is the one that like I really wasn't too sure whether or not I was going to survive because it's missing like something happened to the very tip there, but I saw that it had begun to root. No babies yet, but the rooting is always a very promising thing to see. And so on the bottom row, I have my more of my Mother Thousands plants here. The little ones are hanging out all together there. I'm excited to see that this one is also propagating really nicely. You can see like the little plant coming out from it. And again, this one, similar to the previous one, is an painted echeveria. And it's begun to recently produce a little nubbin, so I'm really excited to see that. Alright, and so on the bottom row here, and you may recollect that like I had a bunch of Chinese dunce caps, the unfortunate name, Chinese dunce cap, and it had a little cluster here, and the neat thing is that the center of it started growing out, stretching towards the light, and I think they're really pretty, but I find it odd that the other Chinese dunce caps I have didn't really do that, but it's really cool to see how like they're stretching out from the center of their flower. The one I have over here, I think it's a type of sedum, I'm not really too sure, and again another burrow's tail. In the middle row, I have a crassula. I have another plant. I think the first time I filmed rather, I had just removed a mother leaf, and it's doing really nicely. You can see that's gotten a lot bigger now. And then right next door to it is like I'm not really too sure what it is, but it also has like little plants growing on it. And at the bottom, I have a Chinese dunce cap and another one over here. You can kind of see like the little tendrils growing out of it. This one's a little bit harder to see. And this one's a crassula. I'm really excited for this because you can actually kind of see the root just ever so slightly at the bottom there. But the nice thing about the crassula here is that it's definitely grown since the last time I filmed. I think it's put on maybe like 1 or 2 layers of leaves, and so I'm really excited to see that because I think they're really pretty. Alright, so at the very top again, and our last little section here, I have some succulents that are propagating really nicely at the back. And in the middle, again, you can kind of see that this might be 3 plants, I think, propagating from the same mother leaf. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that grows. It might be cresting, I really can't tell. But same thing with this one. This one I think is also, there are more than 1 plants propagating in the same area. And so at the bottom, you can see this particular plant. Again, it's not, it looks like it might not be getting enough sun because it's getting a little bit leggy and long. But I'm hoping that once summer actually rolls around the corner, that won't be so much of a problem, but we'll find out as we progress. Okay, so last but not least, I have some plants here, and it's doing really well. The one in the middle here has always had a really strong root system, but no plants yet, or no nubbins, but everything else is doing pretty good. So, for instance, that one, you can see that's getting a little leggy, but there's definitely a plant propagating there. This one doesn't have a plant yet. I think the last time I also showed this, there was a little plant propagating from this leaf, but not this one. But I'm guessing that with the summer month, it's going to get it. I would anticipate that I'm going to see a brand new plant soon. So yeah. And so I also want to show my other plants, which I didn't get a chance to do last time. But you can see here, I have some more plants here, and this one's a little bit less organized than in the other tray. But I just want to show you guys how my plants are looking like. And so you can see here that a lot of my leaves are doing really well. I think the last time I actually filmed this, nothing was really popping up. This particular tray of plants came from an area of, or I left in an area of my house that's super bright and super warm. It gets as warm as 55 degrees Celsius, whereas the plants on the tray can get as warm as about 20, 30. And so I'm surprised that it actually didn't get fried, to be honest. And so I have a couple new additions here. For instance, that's a new guy for us here. But here are my other plants. So I'm really excited for this guy because we've had that one for a little while and it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't until it started getting warmer within the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then since then it's really exploded. It's like growing these little plants and like little roots coming from it, and it's really cute. I have its siblings over here. It's doing really well. And again, you can see there's some panda leaves. And last but not least, I have one more tray to show everyone. And so here we are. So at the back over here, these are actually topsy-turvies. And so I was really concerned when I first brought my topsy-turvy back and I was planning on propagating the leaves. I wasn't too sure whether I was doing a good job because it has a thicker base at the bottom of the leaf than most of the echeverias. But you can see now, and all of this growth really happened within the last, I say, 2 or 3 weeks. And you can see that like almost all of them. I think I have 14 leaves that had popped off my topsy-turvy. I think maybe 10 of them are doing really well. And the roots just came out about a week ago. And so you can see how they're doing. You can see their cute little roots. You can see how they're like slowly growing into little plants. At the back over here, that's another leaf from the echeveria, the painted echeveria. You can also see like its root system's growing really quickly. I'm not really too sure how to deal with a leaf that kind of like curves in the way it is. I've been trying to stick in the root, stick the root further into the soil, but it's hard for it to not get toppled over. So I'm not really too sure what to do there. So I have a couple examples of some other succulents. Those are sedums. These are more of my burrow's tail. I also have an Aeonium kiwi. And so this one's the only one whose leaf I've managed to successfully propagate, but the leaf is really drying up quickly, and so I'm really unsure whether or not that one's gonna make it. And so you can also see that I have a couple of balls from a string of pearls. Now I have no idea what these are, but they're also doing really well. They're growing really nicely. You can see some of the roots growing out of them. And then we're back to the beginning of this particular tray with the topsy-turvy. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a good one. So just a quick summary. So we've, at least in for the, I guess, the temperature and conditions of my window. And so the ones that are definitely facing west is doing really well. They go as high as about 55 degrees Celsius in a window. And the ones on trays are about, during the daytime when there's sun, it goes to like about 35 to 40-ish, depending on the time of day. It doesn't drop, the window doesn't drop below 0. It's kind of hovering around like 5-ish when it does get a little bit cold here, but I would say on average it's probably closer to 10 during the last couple of weeks here. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how well the plants grow during when things really get warmer here. So fingers crossed. See you guys in a month.